Dr. Heiter sits in his car at the side of a deserted offshoot of the highway. He examines a photograph that shows 3 dogs standing behind each other. Each one seems to have its face glued to the back of the previous one. The doctor admires this peculiar chain of dogs until he is distracted by a cargo parked right behind him. A fat, messy driver gets out of the truck and runs into the woods. He carries a roll of toilet paper in his hands. Dr. Heiter becomes interested in the driver. He gets out of the car, takes his small caliber rifle with him, hides it under his raincoat and follows the driver. When he crouches in the bushes, the doctor aims the rifle at him. Jenny and Lindsay are pretty American tourists who have come to Germany for fun and new experiences. They are vacationing in an inexpensive hotel room and are about to visit the Bunker Club. Lindsay tells her friend Amy over the phone about a new acquaintance, a waiter who Jenny liked and invited them to hang out together. The friends go to the party by car. On the road, they get lost, lose their way and drive into the middle of nowhere. What's more, they get a flat tire and find themselves alone in the middle of the night in the creepy middle of nowhere.
I'm sorry, I just don't know where we are.
Lindsay tries to call a rental car service, but there's no cell phone reception. They decide to sit and wait until daybreak. A car appears out of the darkness. It stops. A fat, elderly German man says something to the girls. They would understand him if they knew German, but they can only answer him in English. Finally, the girlfriends understand what the unpleasant-looking German wants from them. He wants them in exchange for help. Of course, the girls refuse and the German leaves. Lindsay and Jenny have to decide whether to sit in the car and wait for the next pervert or go and seek help. They choose the latter. The friends get off the road, go deeper into the woods and finally lose their way. They quarrel, begin to fight, and then, when both are tired and don't want to go any further, Lindsay sees the light from the window of the house among the trees. It begins to rain. The girls, frozen and tired, hurry toward the house. In the yard, they catch a glimpse of a strange tombstone. On it is written, "My favorite triple dog." After shouting and knocking on the door, a tall man finally opens it for them. Dr. Heiter takes a long look at the girls as they ask for help and permission to call from him. Then he lets them in, asks a few questions and moves away to call a tow truck. The friends ask for a glass of water. From inside the house looks creepy. There are many strange paintings on the walls. A fire is in the fireplace and the hallway looks like a morgue corridor. The girls are scared, but it's even scarier to go back into the woods in the rain. Dr. Heiter is in the kitchen pouring water and pretending to talk to the help desk. In reality, he throws sleeping pills into the glasses meant for the girls. The doctor informs them that the tow truck will arrive in half an hour. All 3 sit in the living room in silence. The girls are uncomfortable. They are drinking water and trying to strike up a conversation. The doctor tells that he is not married because he doesn't like people. At this point, Lindsay spills her water, causing the man to go mad. He yells at the awkward guest and is already heading to the kitchen to get another drink, as the friends assure him that they will drink from the same glass. However, the doctor still leaves, ostensibly to get a towel. In reality, he goes to the basement to check on his recent prey, the drugged-out truck driver. He also fills a syringe with sleeping pills, since Lindsay has spilled her drink. Lindsay and Jenny decide to run before it's too late. Jenny finishes the rest of her water, feeling tired. Dr. Heiter returns with a towel, holding a syringe behind his back. Jenny is about to pass out and Lindsay asks him to call a cab. He says that her friend drank water with a special substance. Lindsay tries to run, but her weakness makes her unable to do so. The doctor grabs her and injects the drug into her neck with a syringe. The night draws to a close. Dr. Heiter eats breakfast and destroys the girls' papers. They wake up and are horrified to find themselves in a dark basement, chained to metal bunks. Medical instruments are beeping in the headboards. On the 3rd bed lies the truck driver. At the screams, the doctor arrives. He is calm and collected. He ignores the pleas of his girls, approaches the fat driver and tells him that he is not fit and that he will have to kill him. The doctor injects a lethal drug and the driver dies. Dr. Heiter quickly finds a replacement for him. He brings a Japanese man, Katsuro, into the basement. He then decides to introduce himself and tells him that he has been a surgeon for a long time. During his practice, he separated Siamese twins, but upon retirement he got bored and decided to perform the reverse operation to create such twins. His first experiment was to combine dogs into an unusual multi-legged creature. Now he decided to create a human centipede. To this end, and the doctor has elaborated on this, he plans to connect people's butts with their mouths, lining them up one after another. Dr. Heiter details to the girls and to Katsuro how the operation will proceed. In addition to connecting their mouths and butts directly, he plans to deform their kneecaps to make it easier to get on all fours and to unite their digestive systems.
A human centipede.
Before the operation, the doctor puts the Japanese man to sleep, then performs the same procedure on Jenny, but Lindsay manages to escape. While the sadistic surgeon is busy with her friend, she unties the straps holding her hand with her teeth, then frees her other hand and jumps off the bunk. The girl does not notice that a needle is stuck in her vein and ruptures the vein as she escapes. Dr. Heiter is furious and overturns the cart with instruments and drugs. Bloodied and frightened, Lindsay hides in Heiter's house, in one of his rooms. She tries not to make any noise, but the doctor finds her and demands to open the room. He threatens Lindsay with horrible reprisals if she does not open the door, and then, when the girl does not yield to his threats, he disappears. Lindsay wants to escape through the window, picks up a table lamp to break it, pulls back the curtain and screams in horror. Behind it is the mad doctor with a rifle in his hands. Heiter smashes the window from outside, while Lindsay escapes through the door, unlocking it with much trouble. She rushes through the house, opening one door after another until she finds herself near the pool and falls in it. The doctor catches up with her and fires a rifle loaded with sleeping pills, but Lindsay doesn't give up. She dives underwater to escape the shot. She can't hold her breath for long. The girl comes up and begs the doctor to kill her. The doctor, on the other hand, tells Lindsay that one of the dogs he once teamed up with also tried to escape before the surgery. When he caught that dog, he put it in the middle in a tandem of doggy Centipede. Here, the pain of wound healing is much worse. He plans to do the same with Lindsay. The girl is terrified. She agrees to anything, even death, just to avoid the operation. The doctor tries to lure her out by turning on the blinds covering the pool from above, but Lindsay dives in, determined to drown. When the blinds are almost closed, the power grid is overloaded and all the electricity in the house goes out. The doctor removes to fix the problem, leaving Lindsay to fend for herself. The girl gets out of the pool and tries to escape but remembers her friend. She returns to the basement, where Jenny and a Japanese man she doesn't know are lying unconscious. Lindsay pulls her friend out, lifts her upstairs, drags her down the hallway, and is already carrying her out of the house. But before she can drag Jenny 20 yards away, Dr. Heiter shoots her in the back. A dart of sleeping pills hits her between the shoulder blades. The girl passes out. With all three of them at his disposal, the doctor performs a surgery. Katsuro is assigned the role of the head of the Centipede. Lindsay, as he promised, is placed in the middle. The tail becomes Jenny. All three survive the surgery. The doctor begins to train them so that the Centipede can live normally. He trains the humans like dogs, feeds them dog food, makes them fetch the newspaper and run other errands. Come. Poor sanitary conditions lead to the inevitable. Jenny becomes ill. An infection enters her body, which is unfit for such abuse. However, the doctor doesn't even think about treating the girl because she can simply be replaced with a new part of the Centipede. One day, a police squad arrives at Dr. Heiter's house. They ring the intercom while the doctor is in the basement with his Centipede. As soon as the landlord picks up the phone, Katsuro screams for rescue, but the doctor manages to cover the phone with his hand. He climbs upstairs, quickly tidies himself up and goes to open the door. Detective Kranz and his partner, Detective Waller, enter the house at the invitation of the owner and tell him that they are looking for missing persons. Not far from Heiter's house, the girl's car is discovered. The doctor admits that he rarely leaves his house, that he is fully occupied with research. He offers his guests a drink of water. The cops agree. The doctor goes to the kitchen and pours everyone a glass of water, where he throws sleeping pills. In the basement at this time, Katsuro is shrieking violently, but the cops can't hear him. They are interrogating the doctor, asking about a possible connection with foreign tourists, whose screams some witnesses have heard not far from the doctor's house. They also hint that Heiter has something to do with the missing Danish driver because his car was seen near where the driver went missing. The doctor becomes mad, yells at the detectives, tries to get them to drink water with sleeping pills and leave the house. He plans to replace the tail of his Centipede with one of the cops, but Detective Kranz perseveres through his landlord's rant and breaks his glass. Dr. Heiter apologizes, cites nervousness and leaves to fetch a towel. In the basement, he tells the Centipede that he has found 2 new pieces and is going to attach them in place of Jenny. Upon his return, the doctor begins to clean up the shards of glass and Detective Kranz asks permission to look around the basement. Heiter, of course, refuses. He demands a search warrant. A new argument ensues. A towel falls from the doctor's hands, and the cops see a hidden syringe underneath. The doctor says he brought insulin with him, as he has diabetes. The cops don't believe Heiter and quickly leave. They need to get a search warrant. They promise to be back in 20 minutes. The detectives leave and the doctor rushes to the basement to hide his Centipede. but it is not in the basement. Heiter, terrified, goes looking for the trio and finds them around the next corner. Katsuro stabs the sadistic surgeon in the leg with a scalpel. The doctor falls, screaming in pain, and Katsuro pounces on him and bites him in the neck. He tries to chew his artery, but he doesn't finish his job. The centipede hurries to escape. They climb the steep stairs, their bodies begin to tear away from each other, and the doctor, meanwhile, rises from the floor. The fugitives plan to escape through the previously broken window in Heiter's room. Upon reaching it, they discover that the doctor has put in new glass. In desperation, Katsuro rushes at it and breaks it, and when the trio is overtaken by the doctor, he slits himself. The cops return with a warrant. They ring the intercom, but no one opens. At this time, Dr. Heiter crawls away to the pool and hides there, scalpel in hands. He prepares to meet the detectives. They break down the door and go in search of the sadistic surgeon. As they rummage through the house, they discover a half-dead centipede. Weak from drinking the drugged water, Waller finds the doctor first, but he kills him and dumps him in the pool. When Kranz bursts into the room, Heiter kills him as well. The detective, however, shoots the doctor in the head. The centipede stays outside. The girls cry, holding hands. Finally, Jenny dies, leaving Lindsay alone.